Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday morning. We're running out of Tuesdays in October, folks. You know, as I drive around, I see the Samhain death cult ritual stuff all over the place, folks. Everybody's into celebrating Halloween, this day of death that everybody loves. Well, it's time for you to wake up to a lot more than just that the pumpkins are not a good thing to be hanging at your house, folks. Pumpkins are good to make pumpkin pie. And pumpkin seeds are really good for your eyes, especially if they're raw. By the way, you all should be eating pumpkin seeds, folks, instead of throwing those seeds away. You see, this is how the devil has everything inverted. They've got you making skeleton heads out of pumpkins instead of making, you know, the pumpkin seeds. Dry them out. Don't cook them. Dry them out. Eat them. But you know, it's really, really sad how when I start going off and telling the truth, some people don't like it. And, you know, some of you guys, you may not like, I get a little harsh, but you know what? I'm so sick and tired of all the suffering that's so needless. And I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the evil people that make the evil things, that make you do evil things without realizing you're doing evil things to you and your kids and your wife and your family. That's evil, okay? But what's even worse is when people are told what's evil and they don't care and they keep doing evil things. That's stupidity. I want you to get woke this morning, folks. I'm not talking about getting jacked up on coffee or, you know, packing your nose or, you know, I don't know if you're into cross tops or Benzedrines or whatever you're into, folks. Just get woke with reality and wake up, wash your face with some cold water, and, you know, look at yourself in the mirror and say, thank God I'm here for another day because people are depending on me. And you may have a family. You may not. But you know what? Humanity needs all of us because we're all related. Some of the people out there are of the father, the devil. But those aren't our brothers and sisters, folks. Our brothers and sisters are the children of God. There are some people that are of their father, the devil. And you know who those people are. You can tell by their actions, folks. They do nothing but evil things, invent evil things, and are constantly working behind the scenes to make evil things continue to happen. And we need to concern ourselves with the actions of these people, because these people never stop trying to find a way to screw us and to hurt us and to kill us and to steal from us and to cheat us and deceive us and harm us. But they will never take away our eternal life, ladies and gentlemen. That has been bought and paid for by Jesus Christ. And once you have been sealed and bought and paid for by Jesus Christ, they cannot take our eternal destiny away. Now, while we're here on this earth, we must cut through the lies of the disinformation that surrounds us everywhere. And I wanted to talk today about, once again, this strange polio-like illness that is now claiming 155 victims in at least 25 states. It's spreading. Now, this is an illness that the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, or the Contagious Disease Creation Institute, I don't know what you want to call them. They're a government agency that is responsible for developing biological weaponry and releasing it against the people of this country while claiming to be our saviors, coming in the name of prevention. Well, of course they can have the monopoly on prevention, folks, because they have the monopoly on creation. What we have going on right now, and you know what? Forget Alex Jones. He's a shill and a distraction. He served his purpose. Alex Jones is a Zionist gatekeeper, folks. It's what he is, and it's what he always was, and that's what he always will be. Alex Jones is a disinformation agent, and so are all the people that push all this globalist stuff. Global this, global that, planet this, planet that. There's a whole network of them out there. Let's put it this way. Almost everybody he's had on his shows are highly suspect. And they'll never talk about what I'm talking about, folks, because their whole agenda was to keep your eyes off of what I discuss. I talk about the things that are behind the scenes that you're not supposed to talk about. You see, that's why I don't have 1 million subscribers. That's why they unsubscribed 500 people from me last week, just out of the blue in like a 5-minute period. 500 subscribers just disappeared. And then now nobody's getting their notifications. We know what's going on, folks. They don't want the information getting out. That's right. And how many of you aren't getting your notifications? I mean, I'm getting emails all the time. By the way, my email is joeimbriano777@gmail.com. And I don't have the time to get back to every single one of you. But, you know, I do read most of my emails when it's possible. And keep sending me information and I'll talk about it. Okay? I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a medical doctor. I can't get you out of jail. I can't control your treatment protocols. You know, if you're in dire straits with, you know, all jacked up on medicines. But I'll tell you this, folks, there's always a way out of everything if you just open your eyes. And stand tall. And I've gotten some emails from people that have walked out of the hospital and refused treatments, and they're better off for it. And I'm glad to hear that. But don't sue me because I don't have any money. Okay? This channel's not monetized. I'm not in this for making money, folks. I'm in this because, you know what? I got information. It needs to get out because I'm living proof that this information's true, and my family's living proof that I know what I'm talking about. And you need to know about this information. And the information is the government's sole purpose as of late is to figure out ways to kill everybody. But here's how they do it. They have to get you to do it to yourself. That's right. You know, the government's too busy taking all the sand out of the tractor tires and the tanks and changing all the airplane motors out from all these invasions they've been running all over the world. You see, they've been bombing half the world back to the Stone Age for the last 20 years and spraying depleted uranium all over the place and having our troops walk around as living human guinea pigs, getting injected with all kinds of stuff with no medical records, testing out all kinds of psychotronic warfare on a bunch of innocent people, and testing out these electromagnetic energy weapons that turn people into blobs and make people hear voices and make their skin burn and make them have headaches and horrible cranial pressure. That's right, folks. What they did is they perfected that stuff, and now they're going to put it on a light pole near you. But here's the deal, folks. Only if you let them. Only if you let them. Only if you let them on your property. Only if you let them bring this stuff into your house. Tell the cable installer to give you something that doesn't transmit. Tell them to give you something without a frickin' antenna. That's right. So, we've got this mysterious polio-like illness, and now there's another case where the parents are quoted as saying, the hospital officials and staff and doctors have run every test known to man and can't figure out what is wrong with my child. Isn't that comforting, ladies and gentlemen? I think it was at this hospital called the Scottish Rite Hospital or something, some sort of Masonic hospital. You know how these Masons, they have this way of thinking they're doing good with the Shriners hospitals and all that, but at the very top they're, you know what they're doing at the very top? If you're in the lodge, you better get out, because you know something? I want to tell you a little secret about Masonry. It's satanic. And when you get to the very top, by the way, we got, this is key lime juice, fresh key limes from my tree, apple cider vinegar, turmeric powder, cinnamon powder, pink Himalayan sea salt. Did I say apple cider vinegar? Ground up coral powder. What else did I put in there this morning? Freshly squeezed ginger. You get some ginger roots and just kind of squeeze them like a press and get the juice out. Take some of the shavings. That's right. Put that in a cup and you drink it. You know what that does? That helps your stomach acid. Because when you get to be 52 years old, you don't have as much HCl. Helps your stomach acid break down your breakfast, ladies and gentlemen. You can also drink that on an empty stomach like I did this morning. That gives you energy. This is good for you. But see, they want you drinking coffee and eating donuts and smoking cigarettes. That's right. So anyway, back to this story about these poor child in the hospital where they ran every test known to man and they can't find out what's wrong with this child. Boy, what the heck kind of nonsense is that, folks? I can tell you what's wrong with the kid. He's been injected with something that made him paralyzed, or he's been irradiated by something that attacked his nervous system. Now, he could have been injected by something at the pediatrician's office a month before. You know, there could have been myelin antigens in the polio vaccine that he got, and that's why they can't find a virus, because they're not looking for the virus. Or they're not looking for the myelin antigens he could have been injected with. That's right. They're not looking for what could cause the problem. That's a lie that they run every test known to man. Because here's the deal, folks. There are plenty of ways to diagnose a problem. You know, it's like we got this autism epidemic in Orange County. And all these young boys, all these techie parents with their Teslas and their Wi-Fi repeaters in their house, and you know, their frosting on their cupcakes, and their freezers full of all kinds of Guinness Stout and Diet Joke, and you know, they're making Diet Joke shaved ice, and you know, just all the accoutrements of being a weaponized idiot with advanced degrees. You know, the yuppies, they got these you know, nice purses and their sunglasses, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know why in the world people spend all that money on a purse that looks like crap when they got no money to put in it, but that's another story. So they got all these autistic children, especially boys, and it's like they don't know what's causing autism. So, you know, I've been to all kinds of meetings. I've spoken at school board meetings, city council meetings, you know, county board meetings, county board of education meetings. I've spoken at symposiums where they've had a you know, Senate subcommittee on autism, and you know, I told them, hey, look, you guys are electrocuting these kids, and why don't we look at some, you know, some statistical analysis of, you know, let's see how many of these moms live in apartments, how many of these moms have a microwave transmitter strapped to their waist working the drive-thru at Burger King, how many of these women work around a microwave oven, how many of these women have had occupational exposure to high levels of microwave radiation, how many of these women had the stupidity to keep their laptop and their iPad in their lap all day while they stayed at home eating bonbons. No, they won't look at that, folks, because they don't want to know. And when I went and talked about how autism is a disease of demyelination, they tell me they don't want to hear it because they're too busy working on a freaking vaccine for autism. They don't want to solve the problem. They don't want to find out what's causing this problem. I went and talked about how the anemia is a common denominator in autism, and anemia is one of the reasons why the microwaves have a tendency to penetrate the blood-brain barrier, because the blood-brain barrier gets opened up by the microwaves, and all the metals get into the brain, and then you have these voltage discharges from the microwaves hitting the metals in the brain, and if there's not enough iron to block all the microwaves, then the child's going to get fried. And so he gets fried in the womb, fried in the crib, fried in the classroom, and you know, then he can only use an iPad with Wi-Fi and video games because he's become molded to the satanic technocracy's vision for young men. And that is, give me some more chocolate milk, Daddy, and I'm going to go back to my video game system when they're 13 years old. Instead of looking at the girls in the dolphin shorts and riding the Schwinn Cruiser around like I did, trying to pick Santa Rosa plums out of the neighbors' front yards in the middle of June, and boy, what a treat that was. You know, there was nothing like a beautiful, sunny morning in Southern California riding a Schwinn Cruiser in the 1970s with Santa Rosa plums ripening in people's driveways, and the young girls would be out riding their bicycles, and we would all be friends, and I just remember the beauty of these healthy young girls, and the radiance, their tan skin, going to the beach, smelling the suntan lotion, and you know, the smell of hot dogs cooking down there, and just the beaches were crowded with all these kids. Now they're just packed with, you know, a bunch of adults under umbrellas now. I don't know what's happened, but all these techie freaks who worship the system, who work for the system, got all these autistic kids, and yet none of these entities want to look at the cause, because the cause is really microwave exposure coupled with the barbaric birthing procedure. See, they don't want to talk, and of course the vaccines are a component too, but If you really wanted to solve the puzzle, then you would start breaking the pieces down, folks, and start looking at the individual pieces. And there's a common denominator. There's a higher incidence of autism for people that live in apartments because they got Wi-Fi routers and more chronic microwave exposure from all their weaponized neighbors who have all these gadgets and devices behind every freaking wall and above and below every floor, because people are getting cooked in the apartments. Because all of your weaponized neighbors have all these weapons. Behind every drywall wall is another microwave transmitter. Could be a decked phone, those cordless phones. The ones that go through your wall, their wall, and everybody else's wall, all the way to the parking structure. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Those things cook constantly. Children are susceptible to microwave energy, and they could have broke it down statistically by the level of chronic microwave exposure, but nobody wants to look at this. Well, this polio thing is no different. Okay? They're not looking at the cause. They don't want to look at the cause. And by the way, are you guys getting my notifications? Because they're screwing with me. Are you guys getting my notifications? Well, you know who runs YouTube. It's the satanic pedophile cult that can't stand the people who love Jesus Christ. Guess what? They can't win, folks. But they're going to try, because stupid people always do stupid things, and the stupid people that are trying to control the world are once again doubling down on their stupidity by trying to con all of us that we need to take some more injections, because they got more injections planned. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to keep ramping up these mystery illnesses to scare the living crap out of everybody until they literally roll up their sleeves and get on their knees in front of some dude with a stethoscope hanging around his neck with that nice little soft, creepy NPR voice that says, yes, thank you for bringing your child to me because we have all the answers, my friend. Yes. Yes, please let me inject your child with the latest and greatest technological advancement to protect him or her from these dangerous ailments that mysteriously befall the young innocent children. Yes, my friend, please step right up. Oh, and if you don't comply, we report you to the social services, so they can take your child to a foster home, and they can drug him because he's going to be crying for you every night after we inject him constantly with more medication and more vaccines. And then we have to give him psychotropic medication, but then the foster parents get to have extra money on a monthly stipend, because if we medicate the child, then the foster home gets more money. And then the foster home gets to add on more rooms to the home so they can take in more children away from good parents like you who don't want to vaccinate. But this is all your fault, because you don't want to listen to the government. Because the government is your friend, ladies and gentlemen, and we know what's best for you. But because you don't want to listen to us and eat the ding-dongs and the hot chocolate and the hamburgers that we give you with the EBT card, you have to come get your shots because your children are going to get sick. Because this is not good for your child. You have to have antibiotics in the hamburgers. You need to understand something, ladies and gentlemen. I am not crazy. I'm telling you the truth. We have a major problem on our hands. Your children are under attack by an enemy that is domestic and foreign at the same time. And they do not want you to realize that the biggest enemy of your child is you yourself. Because you are the one who is injecting your child with the poison. You're the one who is irradiating your child with the weaponry. You are the one who is destroying your child with the technology that you bring into the home. And you are the one who is destroying your child with the technology that you allow the school district to stick in the laps of your child. Because you're too much of a freaking coward to stand up for your children. Because all you care about is watching your television, and all you ladies care about is your makeup and your purse collection. You stupid idiots, you need to wake up. You're going to lose everything. Why am I telling you this in the way I'm telling you this? Because you need to listen. I need to explain to you what is happening. Because you have to understand that if you don't want to listen, you're going to be forced to listen. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. You need to understand what is going on. And if you think I'm a stupid idiot for not telling you why I'm not telling you the truth, I'm explaining to you what the problem is. The problem is you are cowards. And you refuse to listen to the truth. You want to be lied to. That's why you have these big television sets in your home. You have these big television sets that are like 20 feet tall, and they have this design in them that can give you information that is all lies and makes it believable because the bullshit comes in surround sound. And then you believe everything they tell you. And before you know it, you're taking all these pills they tell you need because you're not eating enough essential fatty acids, so your body is making too much cholesterol, and then the doctor tells you you have a cholesterol problem because you're not eating the right food, so they give you pills. And then these pills make your weenie teeny. That's right, and then your wife gets mad because she thinks you don't love her, and she thinks you have a problem with drugs and pornography. So then she goes and starts eating too much and hanging out with the wrong people and spending all your money. And then you get sick of coming home to your wife because she doesn't look like she used to look like when you were younger. And then you go to the strip club and you spend all your money at the strip club while your children are at home doing drugs. But that's okay because they have the Jägermeister at the liquor store. And you can get your happy ending for $40. And then you can go to church on Sunday and you say a few Hail Marys and you think you're okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a major problem on our hands. You cannot continue to live like a bunch of animals. Because that's what they teach your children. They teach your children that they're animals, that they came from an accidental evolution of rock explosion. They want you to eat microwave tumors and Hot Pockets and Wiener Schnitzel shakes and vanilla fries. And they want you to put the grease all over everything. And they want you to listen to music that you sing along with that says, "Hail Satan and I love you the devil." That's right. They want you singing that you're on the highway to hell. Because you are. Is that enough? I don't know, folks. Sometimes I gotta have a little fun. But anyway, these kids, folks, they're getting jacked up by something, all right? These kids are getting jacked up by something, and the hospitals have no solution for what's happening to these children. And this mystery illness continues. This mystery illness continues to spread, and they don't know what's causing it. Can you imagine waking up to your child unable to move? Well, we know that Alphabet, which is actually the parent and holding company of Google, is in the business of genetically modifying mosquitoes. And I've talked about this before, but you have to understand something, folks. The mosquitoes are the ultimate weapon. And they're not hiding the fact that they're going to try to find a way to make these mosquitoes our friends and solve our problems, when in fact, clandestinely, these mosquitoes are actually the problem, and they're finding a way to weaponize them to hurt us. They're going to kill you softly, folks. Real softly. Have you noticed, if any of you have been bitten by any of these mosquitoes, that they form this crazy rash and they itch for days? Now, do you realize what's going on there, folks? Do you realize what's going on there? What they've done with these Aedes aegypti mosquitoes is, I believe, they have genetically engineered them to contain an adjuvant which causes your immune system to overreact to whatever has been injected in your body at the same time that mosquito bites you. It almost is it's an overreaction of the immune system when you're bit by one of these mosquitoes. You know, the other mosquitoes, the Culex mosquitoes in California that have been around since I've been a child, you know, they bite, a little bump would show up, and sometimes it itch, and if you scratched it and you cut it open, it would itch because you get infected. But these mosquitoes, I mean, they actually turn into like eczema and and psoriasis in some cases. And if they're on your lower extremities, the itch is really persistent. It can wake you up at night. It can affect your sleep. But there's something about these mosquitoes, folks, because I believe they have been genetically engineered, and I believe through gene drive or some other genetic engineering, they have had adjuvants placed in them in preparation for a disease that is going to be carried by them and delivered to us by them, that will wear out our immune systems and make us succumb to the 5G, the millimeter wave weaponry. And they're going to call that Disease X, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. You see, they have plans for you and I, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, I keep talking about the same things all the time. Because in order for you, did you ever wonder why when you go back to school in the fall, they kind of review the stuff from the last year? Well, I operate the same way. Did you guys like that little rant about when I'm talking like this? You guys like it when I talk like Ricky Ricardo? Well, the caravan is coming because Donald Trump has ordered it with his friend George Soros, and they're handing out $20 bills to these people like Pez candy on Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, can you hear the sound of my voice? I want you to understand that you need to go to the doctor and you need to take all the medication they tell you to take. You need to understand that if you do not bring your children in for the vaccine, that your children could get sick and they could die. It's okay if you want to keep feeding them peanut butter and jelly cookies for breakfast and the hot chocolate, you stupido. You gotta listen to me. You need to give your children lots of sugar, because sugar is good for children. It makes their teeth fall out. Because it's really good to make them fat and make them stupid. That's what the government loves. You guys need to make sure that you drink plenty of beer, especially the kind that had the very high hop content. You know, the hops that make your boobies grow, guys? You know, some of you men, you have bigger boobies than your wife. I mean, it's crazy what you think you're doing. You're not supposed to eat vegetables. Vegetables are no good for you. You know, folks, the parody is off the charts. When I start thinking about the false reality and the illusion they've set up, and I mean, like, take for example, you know, you go to the store, and I'll be honest with you, I have never seen so much. You know what? Who's calling me a racist? Go screw yourself. Well, you can't have a little fun. You know what racism is? It's an invention, ladies and gentlemen. It's an invention to get us fighting with each other. So go screw yourself. You want to call me names? Go call somebody else names. Go start your own channel. Get the hell out of here. How's that, huh? Look, folks, we got weaponized idiots making all kinds of bad decisions. You go to the store, for example. I have never seen so much fluoride in my life being aimed at us. You go to the 99-cent store, and you've got enough fluoride there to make a nuclear bomb. I mean, I'm not kidding. Did you know fluoride is a waste product of the nuclear industry? They put fluoride in everything. Now, just so you understand how much power fluoride has, if you actually took fluoride in its purest form and put it on your skin, it would literally dig right through your skin to get to your bones. It has a tremendous affinity for calcium. It just can't stay away from calcium. It's really, really powerful. And that's why they give it to you for toothpaste, because it literally binds to your teeth. But when you have a halogen compound with that kind of reactivity, and it literally hunts down calcium that hard and that strongly, what do you think it is doing to all of the calcium in your cells, in your mitochondria, in your pineal gland, and in all of the metabolic and biological and electrochemical processes that require calcium ions to operate, run, and continue. Calcium is something that we need in a free form in our body, and our body combines it when it's necessary to be combined with other compounds. They give us a compound that they disguise as a benefit to destroy every single possible calcium-based reaction in our body that is designed to run the cell mitochondria, cell metabolism. I mean, it puts a wrench in the Krebs cycle. It just... Look, folks, fluoride is your biggest enemy, and yet they've got it everywhere. Now they got everybody thinking it whitens your teeth. Okay? Real quick, my wife is totally on board with me. You idiots. I've been married for 20 years. My wife is totally beautiful, and we have a wonderful life, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, the reason I don't put my wife on here is she wants her privacy. And that's just the way it's going to be. And let me tell you something, folks. There's nothing like being awake and being happily married and being a Christian. And being aware and not being afraid. Because you know what, folks? When you have it all, you share it all, folks. And that's why I do what I do, because I've been blessed with a beautiful woman who is a solid Christian, who's not afraid to stand behind her husband when I'm sticking my neck out for a bunch of people that don't even know and don't even care. But a lot of the things that I do have impacts to people that don't even know I'm doing it, but the impacts will be long-lasting, because any of you that's been liberated by the information I've delivered to you, any of you that has taken seriously to heart the information I've put out there, you'll be blessed for it. And you know what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to pass it on. You're not supposed to take the truth and hide it under a basket. You're supposed to light a candle and put it on the top of a mountain so all the world can see the light. So the fluoride calcifies everything, and the vaccines, you know, all they have to do is spike the shots, folks. I don't know what's causing this polio epidemic, but it is a polio epidemic. They're telling us it's spreading. They're telling us they don't know what's causing it. They tell us that they've run every test known to man and they can't find what the problem is. And yet they're expecting us to continue to stay tuned for a solution to a problem they've created with no solution. Well, they're going to come up with a solution to the problem that they've created, folks, because they know what the problem is and they know what the solution is. But their solution isn't going to solve the problem. The solution is going to make it worse. Because every solution the government has ever had to any problem they've created has always been 10 times worse than the problem they created in the first place. You can't trust the doctors. You can't trust these people to sit back while they put hydrofluoric acid in the water supply. You can't trust them. You can't trust these people that think it's okay to put thimerosal and adjuvants like squalene in vaccines and then sit there in a room full of a bunch of nurses imported on H-1B visas that don't even know what the hell they're doing. They've just been trained to follow orders as they inject everybody with a bunch of stuff that hasn't been tested for impairment or fertility, mutagenic potential, or carcinogenic potential. You don't have to take the vaccines, folks. You don't have to take the shots. You know why you don't have to take the shots? Because there isn't one law on the books in any state in this country that says you have to take vaccines. Now, there are laws that says if you want to get into the free daycare, free breakfast, and free lunch and free dinner for your children, and you want them brainwashed into the NASA pedophile cult lies and the Hollywood666.com indoctrination system of the death education and all of this moral relativism and secular humanism and socialism and Marxism and all these isms. If you want to get your kid into one of those detention facilities with metal walls and a high-powered access point that runs 300 devices and microwaves the living shit out of your kid, if you want your kid to learn how to step on everybody and live for themselves, so when they grow up they can move into a house behind a gate where no one can see what they're doing as they sit in their room late at night watching pornography as their wife's doped up on all kinds of psychotropics, and you're out cheating with the whore from the pharmaceutical company with the stethoscope around your neck, and your kids are all jacked up on blow-wrecking cars. That's right. A doctor's life, folks. Oh, that's the exception. No, is it the norm? I know how these people live. I live in the OC. What's the matter with you people? Don't you watch the Desperate Housewives? You don't think that's a reality? A bunch of facelift failures married to a bunch of eugenicist monster freaks that wear these stethoscopes, and their trophy is they get to drive around in some fancy car that's irradiating the living shit out of them. It's hilarious. And their kids are all screwed up and autistic because their house is full of weapons. That's right. All these medical guys, all these education people, all these attorney people, their houses are full of Wi-Fi repeaters and big TV sets. They got the freaking TVs in their bathrooms. And they got Diet Coke shaved ice in the freezer with frozen cupcakes. And their wives are falling apart, and their kids are on the road to nowhere, and nobody's happy, but everybody thinks they're bitching because they're smart. No, they're not smart. They're just weaponized idiots. You do not need to inject your kids unless you want to hand them over to the system. And if you want to hand them over to the system, good freaking luck, because they get to be locked in a room with 35 people, with the windows hermetically sealed and blacked out. No sunlight is allowed in. And of course, everybody gets to turn on their devices and put them in their laps right on their ovaries. Young girls get to irradiate their ovaries with the iPads that will destroy their reproductive capabilities. And the young men, well, they get to get testicular cancer for the Xbox controllers between their legs. That's their present for their 21st birthday. That's right. And for all you pastors out there that are waking up having your coffee right about now, because it's Tuesday and you don't have to go to work for 4 more days, and you're thinking about what's for lunch and where I'm going to go this afternoon and what golf course I'm going to, you're going to hell. You're going to hell, ladies and gentlemen. Because you hold the truth in unrighteousness and you sit back and let the machinations of the devil destroy God's people. That's right. Any 501c3 church that is silent about the issues of our time, about the satanization of our culture, and the destruction of humanity by the satanic technocracy, any of you pastors that signed on that dotted line when you entered into that employment contract, guess where you're heading when you die, folks? I ain't going with you. I want to tell you something. Your idea of heaven ain't mine. I ain't going to see you there because you ain't going. Look, folks, there is an agenda to kill everybody, but it's requiring that you kill yourself and that you kill your children. They can't win unless you make them win. They can't win unless you win it for them. They can't win unless you take your kids in to get weaponized. They can't win unless you go to Costco and weaponize your house with the technology. They can't win unless you go to Walmart and bring home the weaponized food. They can't win unless you turn on that water tap and don't filter the weaponized water. They can't win unless you stop putting in the weaponized light bulbs. They can't win unless you are a weaponized idiot, and guess what? You're your own worst enemy. You know what you need to do, folks. And by the way, tell everybody about this channel. Get the word out. Because you need to get woke. You need to wake up. Because you can't sit there and act like a moron for your entire life. You know, these people, they think they know better than you. You know something, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at the sky is blue. The sky is blue not because somebody took a can of spray paint to the sky. The sky is blue because there's water up there. A lot of water. When you go to the beach, you see the ocean is flat. That's because the water is a straight line. The water is not a tennis ball. This place we live in is not a spinning ball, ladies and gentlemen. But they want you to believe that we're flying around to the space. They're driving 5,000 miles an hour up there with their blow-up doll in the Tesla. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They want you to believe this bullshit. That we have no creator, that we have no hope, that we have no future. that we have only one life, and that is this life. And they make you afraid to stand up for the truth. You want to know why they teach you the evolution in the school? You want to know why they teach you the lie that there is no God? You want to know why? ¿Tú quieres saber por qué lo hacen así? Porque no quieren que sepan que hay Dios. Quieren que vivan como cobardes. Quieren que viven como cobardes. Que no quieren morir. Tenemos que vivir para lo que es verdad, para lo que es derecho. Tenemos que luchar para la verdad en vez de morir para la mentira. You guys think I'm crazy? Folks, spread the word. We got to get the word out, okay? We got to get the word out. I love all you guys. That's why I do this. My email is joeembriano777@gmail.com. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You want to call me a racist? I've fought more battles for the Hispanic community in Orange County over my 25 years of activism than any of these crooked, phony politicians that put an accent mark on their last name. All right? Joe, JoeEmbriano777@gmail.com. That's right, folks. Reach out to me. If you're in the Fullerton area, reach out to me. If you're in Orange County, we need to meet. We need to get together. We need to figure out a way to solve these problems and liberate all these children that are about to be exposed to a radio frequency weapon system that's going to induce disease X, that's going to demand a vaccine. All right. Listen, folks, that's enough. And I want you to realize that the truth is marching on, and so are we, ladies and gentlemen. And in the name of Jesus Christ, I'm going to keep telling the truth. And we are going to do what we can to protect these children from the eugenicist agenda of weaponizing pharma, weaponizing communication, weaponizing technology, weaponizing water, and weaponizing food. It's all avoidable, ladies and gentlemen. And in Jesus' name, we must make sure that these children know that there is a God, that God created them, that God loves them, and that He died for their sins. Jesus Christ died for their sins, and your sins and my sins. And He's the way, the truth, and the life. And guess what? There ain't no way to heaven but through Jesus Christ. And you want to call that hate speech? I call that truth, and I'll die for that, folks, because I want to tell you something. He died for me. God bless. Over and out, folks.